Welcome back to Marta from Sparta. In today's episode, we will address another super fun trend which I noticed when I was visiting French websites, French designers. A lot of websites carry like shorts with a tiny apron around the waist. And the fun part about it, that the apron is super short, just like that, and it's detachable, so you can wear shorts only, or you can wear with this tiny apron around it and the huge bow in the back, which actually add this super fun detail. Also, if you guys shopping around a lot, you probably noticed that the scalloped edges are so trending right now. It's on everything: dresses, shirts, sleeves, bottom of your shorts, pants. Scalloped edges are like everywhere around it. So this would be sewing machine project, and I had tested what would be the easiest way to make a scalloped edges, and my sewing machine has the option to do that. The only thing which I don't like about it, they come out really tiny. I'm gonna show you. So that's the size of the scalloped edges my sewing machine do. And I think it's some project I would like to have them very big one. So I actually took a piece of scrap fabric and I draw this type of edges with a marker, and I put my sewing machine on zigzag stitch, very short but very dense, and I follow my line, and I got what I wanted. So this way or the other, if you have a sewing machine which has that, or if you don't, you're still gonna be able to accomplish the look. And I wish I would be more patient and do bigger scalloped edges on the project, which we will be doing today. But I said to myself that I don't want to put too much pressure on it. I got this beautiful fabric, and if it's not gonna work out, I don't have extra and I don't want to spend more money on the fabric. So I actually took very safe option, and I used my sewing machine. And I have to say that I was making like a very long trim. Probably this one is like 4 feet long. It's just I folded it, or maybe even 5. Oh no, it's actually even taller than me, so it's gonna be like 5.5 feet because I'm only 5'3". And I was holding my breath all this time because I didn't want to mess it up, just because you know, fabrics are expensive and I didn't want to ruin it, and I bought just enough for this project. So yeah, I used my sewing machine. I'm in the process of cutting. I'm gonna explain everything later. And you do not have to use cotton fabric. I'm using like a thicker side cotton fabric. I think you can use anything you want to. I'm going with the safe option and with the fabric, which I am very comfortable with. We just finished our project, and I'm 100% sure that towel fabric won't work for it. So yeah, let's get started, and I'm gonna link in description below which pattern I'm using. And I notice I tend to go back to the same pattern over and over again because it became my favorite and it works for me. And there is no sewing pattern for this, only for the shorts. The apron, I figured it out how to make it myself, but looking at different angles on designers' website. So what I did as far as my apron goes, maybe no, that's a waistband. You have to basically measure your waist, right? And what I did, this is gonna be a belt, and it's very long. This will be a belt for the apron. So I measured my waist and I tripled that because I want a bow. I want comfortably to have like tie a bow over there. So I'm not gonna give you any sizes. I can tell you how wide it is if that works for you, but it also varies. It has to be wide enough that after finishing and folding this half, it's going to cover the waist of the shorts. So keep this in mind. You have to cut it wide enough because I did a very wide band waist. You might decide to go with a regular waist, right? So regardless, you have to look what waist size you're doing and what elastic band you are using, and it has to be wider, as you see, after stitching, it's gonna still cover elastic band. So that's tip number one. As far as the length goes, measure your waist and triple it, and you're gonna have big enough room in the back to make a bow. And now as far as the apron goes, it's exactly same concept. I'm gonna give you all measurements for how wide I did it for myself, but it also has to be a nice balance between the length of your shorts, and you might do shorts a little bit longer than I did, so you have to kind of balance it so it's gonna look nice, right? And it's not gonna be like literally apron, it's supposed to be something shorter. And what I did, again, same thing as you see in the process of doing that, I ran through the whole fabric on my sewing machine to do the scalloped edge. And now I'm sitting with my scissors and I am cutting this, and I'm doing that before I'm gonna actually assemble my waist, because I don't want to do it later when everything is attached and like nicely ruffled. So I ran one long stitch, and now I'm sitting like hours and hours with a very tiny scissors, and I am cutting everything around. And please be careful, don't go too close, because you don't want to compromise the stitches, because if you're gonna compromise the stitch, it's gonna start to rip, right? That's, I guess, goes without saying. So once we're gonna do that, I saw that designer have a ruffle kind of finished like over here, the apron finished like over here, and I can understand why, because depends like what you're wearing, they have to have some room in the back to tie it the bow. So we're gonna figure out logistics of it once I'm gonna be done with cutting. So I wanted to show you my test sheets. And these are, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it over here, but maybe I'm gonna take a picture of it and attach so you can see it next to it. I tried to do a scalloped edge using my sewing machine and just using the marker, which is this one. And that's the varieties which I did using my sewing machine. So because this is my first scalloped edge sewing project, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go and use something which I have guaranteed, because I know that my sewing machine will do great job. They're a little bit too small for my taste, but again, I don't want to experiment if I never did or use this type of pattern, this type of sewing before. So I'm gonna go with a safe choice for now, and if I feel comfortable, then I'm gonna draw my own like I did over here, and I'm gonna do something more adventurous and like larger scalloped edges with my next project. Once all edges are done, now we actually have to decide how much ruffling we want around our waist. And my general plan is, where is my waist? I'm gonna first iron the waist. I'm gonna iron it half. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna measure the area around my waist up to here and center it in the bend, and that's where my ruffle will go. And I'm gonna leave few inches obviously to tie the bow together. So I think that would be the best way to approach it. Again, there is no pattern with it. I'm trying to figure out myself how to accomplish this look, and I think the best way to do that would be just find how much coverage do we need to do around our waist, and then that's mark this area with a marker, and that's where we're gonna attach our raffle between these two marks. And remember that you do not want your raffle to go all the way. You need to leave at least this much space so you can tie the bow and have some room for adjustment over there. So I think before I'm gonna permanently attach it, I'm gonna first pin it and see if that's going to work. I never did that before, and I'm planning to one more set of shorts in color, probably pink or white. So these are my this is my experimental set. So let's see. Alrighty, and I finished the belt. So what I didn't stitch it together. I just ironed it half, and I iron it folds over here on both sides, so it's going to be easy for me to stitch it. What I'm gonna do, it's very, very long, because my train of thoughts was, if I'm gonna have too much in the back, I can always cut it, right, and make it shorter. But if I'm gonna make it too short and spend all this time doing it, then it's going to be a problem, right? So at this point, I'm gonna measure exactly how much. This is the middle of the belt, because I have to connect two pieces. You guys gonna see over here, I had to connect two pieces in order to make it super long, because one piece of fabric wasn't enough. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna measure starting from middle, where is my belly button, how much do I actually need just to loosely close the belt, and then I'm gonna take, I don't know, 3-4 inches from each side, and that's where it's gonna be this opening to attach my raffle. All right, so my waist is attached. My fringe is attached to the waist, and I just made sure that it's gonna lay in the place I want it to be. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run one stitch along and see how long I really want to have a bow. I think I just overdid it a little bit with the length of it, but it's better safe than sorry, right? So yeah, basically we're just gonna do that, measure how far I want it to go, and that's it. My quick sewing thoughts about this project. I use the same short pattern which I use for the strawberry pattern. I didn't explore anything because shorts are shorts. Shorts has pockets if I want to wear without. I also did this scalloped edge, but if you do not want to do scalloped edge, you don't have to. You can do straight edge, you're gonna have the same results. I wanted something, little bit of extra. So generally, if you know how to sew basic shorts, the apron is like few minutes work unless you're doing this part. If you're not doing scalloped edge, 1 hour you have the apron. And I'm gonna make it different color, and I think I'm gonna wear this over like denim shorts or like white shorts, and I'm gonna actually reuse it in my closet in different pieces of wardrobe. And it's very versatile piece of wardrobe, because not only you can take it off and put it on, but if you think about it, you can wear the bow on the side if you want to, right? You can do that, and you don't have to necessarily wear it in the back, but you can also wear it on a side just like that. You can wear it in front if you want to, right? And have this ruffly stuff in the back. So I'm not gonna say sky is the limit, because there are limits over here, but it's not just a one piece of clothing which you made, and you just use it as is. But look at this. So overall, 10 out of 10. The only pattern which I use, as I mentioned before, it's Simplicity pattern for shorts, which I used previously, and I love totally, I'm using it for all my shorts right now. The rest of the measurements, if you're gonna watch the video, it's entirely up to you how you're gonna do it, how much ruffle you want, how much you need in your waist, how big a long bow you want. Everything is explained if you watch the video. And I come up with my own measurements for the apron. There is no really pattern for it, but I'm gonna share with you my measurements, so you can guys get the basic idea with the ratio I used. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please hit this notification button so you're not gonna miss another video. Let me know in comments what you think about this project. And hey, if you have expensive taste like me and you want to keep your bank account happy as well, this is the right place for you. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week.